What's the first thing that comes to mind when I say heart disease? Aside from this image of a middle-aged man clutching at his chest, you're all probably thinking heart attack. And you'd be absolutely right for thinking so, because heart disease is the single leading cause of death in Australia, and it's been that way for decades. And the most common heart disease is a heart attack. A heart attack is where there's something blocking the blood flow to your heart muscle, which, if you're lucky enough to survive this initial blockage, will lead to muscle death, inflammation, and then the permanent development of a scar on your heart. This scar severely impairs your heart function and can easily cause death. In the medical world, we call this scar cardiac fibrosis. Unfortunately, there are currently no effective treatments for this heart scar. This is because we don't completely understand what goes on beneath the surface in the development of this scar. And that's where I come in. What I do is I use advanced technology to look beneath the surface in order to develop new and effective drugs to treat heart scarring. I do this by looking at molecular targets called proteins, which are essentially the doers of the molecular world. Proteins physically carry out jobs all throughout your body. And it's the job of these proteins in heart disease that we don't completely understand yet. Right now, I'm working with one very interesting protein called ECM1, or extracellular matrix protein 1. And what I do is I work with patients who have had a heart attack, and I look at exactly what my protein ECM1 does and how this affects the scar. And what I've found is something completely new and paradigm shifting. What I've found is that my protein, unlike most proteins in heart scarring, is actually not produced inside your heart. So where does it come from? What I've found is that it's actually produced by inflammatory cells, which move to your heart after you have a heart attack. And what's more, once it gets there, it plays an enormous role in building this scar. This finding represents a brand new link between inflammation and scar formation in heart disease. As such, it creates an entirely new way in which we think about how we treat heart scarring, allowing us to develop effective drugs and to save countless lives of people suffering from Australia's biggest killer, heart disease. Thank you.